Thank you for the presentation, and hello again. If the speakers for the panel are in the room, could you please turn on your camera? Hello, everyone. Khairul, we are waiting for Khairul, right? Khairul, are you here? Okay, perfect. I think we have everyone here. Khairul and Masafumi, I see that you have your headphone on. Could you activate it to turn on the microphone? So your microphone is not activated. And also for Khairul. If you click on the headphone icon in the middle of the screen, you'll be able to turn on your audio. Okay, good. So I guess that we are all ready.
Okay. Sorry, sorry, I'm late.
No problem. So we are all good. Yeah. So so let's get started with the panel today. Welcome everyone. My name is Phuc. I am one of the organizers of this UbuCon Asia event and also the founder of Force Asia. For just a little bit of background, Force Asia first started in 2009 to promote free and open source movement in Asia by connecting contributors and communities across the region. Today, Force Asia communities have contributors from around the world. We work together to develop open source solutions, both software and hardware. Event Yay that we are using today for UbuCon Asia is a software developed by the Force Asia community. We are very happy to be partner of the UbuCon Asia this year. And I'm also very excited to get to meet with community leaders from everywhere. In the panel today, we will hear from the community leaders from Indonesia, Korea, Japan, Malaysia, and Taiwan. They will speak about their open source journey, their experiences in working with various communities, and at the same time share some good practices on how we can scale and sustain the open source ecosystem. I would ask the speaker, if you're not speaking, please mute yourself so we don't get a lot of echo background. That would be great. So if you can mute yourself, you're not speaking. Okay, so with that, I would like to first briefly introduce our panelists. The audience, if you have any question during the panel, please feel free to put it on the channel or on the chat. And you can also let me know in case you cannot hear any of us so well. So let me check 1 second. Okay. Okay, so good. So I will start with the introduction. Let's start with Sartika Lestari. She is representing OpenStack Indonesia, the organizer of the first Indonesia Open Infrastructure Day. Sartika is a digital marketing specialist. She's also the chair of the marketing committee of our UbuCon Asia event. Sartika, would you like to say hello and tell us where you are dialing in from?
Hi everyone, I'm Sartika. Like Tom said, that I'm the OpenStack Indonesia organizer and I'm digital marketing specialist knowledge from the technology. Now I'm live, work, and study in Bogor, in Indonesia, and happy to see you all online.
Welcome, Sartika from Indonesia. Next, I have Hsiao, representing Ubuntu Taiwan local community. He is a software engineer. He's also a volunteer of Mozilla Taiwan community. Ajay considers himself as an otaku. So otaku is a person who obsessed with computers. At the same time, he's obsessed with the Japanese language and culture. He visits Japan almost every year. Yeah. Ajay, would you like to say hello and tell us where you are dialing from? You are muted, Ajay. We cannot hear you. Perhaps like different permission on the microphone. It's still not possible. I think we can go back to you in a moment. So I will continue the introduction while you're checking your microphone. Yes, so beside a Taiwanese who can speak Japanese, I have actually a Japanese person here who is the leader of the Raspberry Pi community in Japan, Masafumi Ohta. He gave a talk earlier today. He is also a volunteer with the Raspberry Pi Foundation since 2012. Masafumi has been contributing to other open source projects as well for a long time. For example, Open Solaris projects and the Open Infrastructure Foundation. Masafumi, would you like to say hello and tell us where you are dialing from?
Can you hear me? Can you
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my name is Masafumi, and I'm now contributing as a Raspberry Pi and the community, and now reading in Japan. But lately, I helping in the Asian and the Raspberry Pi community, mainly in Taiwan and China or the other areas. For the mainly doing for and business with Raspberry Pi, and so and encourage and for the community in the Asian area, and with Raspberry Pi Foundation, and some lately I'm looking into the mainly China and India, so and encourage the community things, so and more and spread I and help spreading the word and you and Raspberry Pi project in Asia area for and with Raspberry Pi Foundation and to and expand your project and to all over the world. Yes.
Thank you very much, Masafumi, and you are calling in from Tokyo, right? Okay, welcome. Next, I have Khairul Aizat Kamarudzzaman. He is the leader of Ubuntu Malaysia local community, a member of the Ubuntu membership board. Khairul is an entrepreneur at the same time an open source enthusiast, a member of the Document Foundation and GNOME Foundation. Khairul, would you like to say hello and tell us where you are calling in from?
Okay. Hello. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Hompatda. So I'm basically dialing from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and thanks for. I think Honda also already shared about my background, and I'm hoping you guys, the participants, are enjoying our first UbuCon Asia. So I think that's all for me as a startup. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much and welcome. Finally, last but not least, I have Youngbin Han, the person who initiated this idea of having an UbuCon Asia event. He is representing the Ubuntu Korea community, a software engineering student at Sung Kong Ho University, at the same time working as a DevOps engineer at CloudMate, one of our sponsors. Hello, Youngbin. Would you like to say hello and tell us where you are dialing from? Yeah, muted, Youngbin. Cannot hear you still. Still cannot. Perhaps you want to reload. Maybe it could be that if we have multiple browser open in different room, and this room need to reactivate with the microphone. How about Ajay? Could you try if we can hear you?
Yeah. Hi, and can you hear me right now?
Yes, very well. Very
Finally.
well.
Yeah, I'm Ajay, and I'm a software engineer working in Taiwan. And I can speak a little bit Japanese. Konbanwa minasan. Hi. And I'm active team leader of Ubuntu Taiwan community, local community, and also a volunteer of Mozilla Taiwan community. And of course, as the introduced, I am a otaku, so I can I go to travel to Japan almost every year. Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Hey, Ajay, you said that you are from Taiwan. Which city are you in now?
Taipei City.
It's Taipei City. Okay,
Yeah.
so good. How about Youngbin? I see you are back. Can you test your microphone?
Hello.
Okay,
Do
perfect.
you hear me? Okay.
It's okay, perfect.
So,
Very good.
hello everyone. My name is Youngbin Han. I live in Bucheon. It's next to the right next to Seoul, and I usually work and study in Seoul. And so I'm currently representative of the Ubuntu Korean local community, and I first joined the Korean community on about 2012, and after many years of participation on the committee, I became representative at about 2017. So I'm usually interested to like using Ubuntu on server or cloud and something like that.
Okay, thank you, Youngbin. So actually, you give a little bit of the answer for the first question that we want to ask the speaker, but that is really good. So we want the audience to understand better the journey. How do you actually get to your communities in the first place? So basically, I want to ask this question again to all the speakers. So tell us a little bit about your history. Yeah, so now you are an active member of the open source community, but how this whole thing started for you in the beginning, and tell us one or two facts about yourself that you would like the audience to know. Yeah. Again, so this is a conversation. If you have any question for the fellow speakers of Spanish, please feel free to turn on your microphone, and the audience, please feel free to write your question on the share notes or in the chat. So Youngbin, you said earlier that you started in 2012 as a member. Could you elaborate this a little bit more?
Yeah, right. To give you some details of why I joined the Ubuntu community.
But let me start with why did you start to use Ubuntu in the first place? Because I understand that when we first time bought our laptop, it always comes with Windows. Why did you start to use Ubuntu and join the community back then?
Oh, I just would like to tell you about some background there. So on 2002, I was a middle school student. I just bought a Android device, which is very early days of the Android device. And I think there should be kind of a Galaxy S or iPhone 3GS around the market. And when I'm using the devices, the using experience wasn't very great. So when I'm surfing the internet, people said that if you install some aftermarket firmware, it will get better. But unfortunately, I couldn't find proper aftermarket firmware for my device. So I started to find the way to how to build my own some customized firmware. So what I found was that you need Ubuntu to get the source and build and install the custom firmware. So I started to use Ubuntu to do that. So my first experience with Ubuntu was actually on the VirtualBox. I installed the VirtualBox because in that time I was just a middle school student, and the desktops for my every family members are using. So I just use the VirtualBox for that. So after, and so I also while using the Ubuntu in the VirtualBox, I interested to learn more about the Ubuntu, because I mean the if you look at the early days of the Linux desktop, the Ubuntu one of the most easy to use, and I mean it looks beautiful, right? It looks beautiful desktop on that times. So I wanted to learn more about the Ubuntu. In the right time, one of my friend recommended to participate the local seminar by the Ubuntu Korea community. So I started to participate the community.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. How about one or two facts about yourself that you would like to share with the audience? Is there anything interesting that we should know about you?
Maybe I'm currently doing a lot of things at the same time. Maybe I'm currently representative of the committee, and I'm also not just working on the CurlMate, and I'm also still studying on the university. So it's a bit difficult to do the same things on the bunch of things at the same times for me. Fortunately, it's last semester now. So maybe next year maybe could be a bit easier to do some focus on working and some organized community.
Okay, so excellent. So what we learn is you can do multiple things at the same time. So you're studying, you organize events, you're working also in a company. So it's possible. If you have an interest, you can do anything. You can manage your time, right? Very good. So I would assume that you have a very good time management skill. Okay, so let's hear from Ajay, also another Ubuntu leader, local community. So Ajay, how did you get into the whole open source Ubuntu scene?
Okay, the first time using Ubuntu because of exam, and in our country we have exam, we have a technician license for about fix and build a computer, and the exam is really interesting because I get the exam in 2004 or 2005, and in that year Ubuntu still it's just released right now, right that years, and no more user will still use Windows XP, Windows XP. And it's so it's really interesting because the requirement is to build a computer with Windows and Linux dual system inside. So it's the first time using Ubuntu, and in 2009 when I was in college university, and my senpai just brought me to the Coast Cup. Coast Cup is the biggest open source flows event in Taiwan, and it's the first time I contact our Ubuntu TW's co-founder Blue T, and after that we just hold some race party in Taiwan and connect with other community peoples. So right until now, yeah.
That is very interesting to learn. So in Taiwanese education system, in the exam, they already ask you to build computer with Linux, like very early, in the very early days, right? So is
Right.
that, which university is that? Is it in high school?
University? Yeah, university.
It's very advanced. And then you got into the community through an event. You went to Coast Cup, right? I was also at Coast Cup. So
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, so going to event is a good place to get meet other community members. Tell us also one fact about you that you would like the audience to know.
How do I say that? But most people think about that I am a Canonical employee, but actually I'm not. Yeah, Canonical has an office in Taiwan. Yeah, just in Taipei City. But I'm not a employee. Some other volunteers is the employee, but I'm not me. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so I don't think you need to be an employee to be an expert in Ubuntu system, right? Yes. So but thank you for sharing. Very nice to hear from you, Ajay. How about Khairul? Also, how about your journey?
Okay.
Journey with starting the Ubuntu local community in Malaysia.
Okay, so how my history started is when I used Linux for my programming while my university days. So previously I started with other Linux distro, which is Red Hat. I think if everyone Red Hat 9 at that time, that was around 2003 something. And then when Ubuntu started being introduced in as a new distribution in 2004, then I start using. At that time is Ubuntu version 4.10, Warhawk. So from there, I started joining forum and do some search and troubleshooting if I get some problems and assisting other people. And from there also, when I foresee there's a group of interest, like a special group in Malaysia, so I started to initiate to build the Malaysia Ubuntu local teams at the time. So with all the contributions, then from there I started contributing to translations, documentations, triage bugs, building PPA package and everything. So with all the contributions that I contribute to Ubuntu, then I applied for the sponsorship for Ubuntu Developer Summit. So I got lucky. The Canonical, the companies behind Ubuntu, sponsor me to I think like 3 event. Ubuntu Developer Summit. It was in I can't remember the years, but it was in Denmark, San Francisco, and Florida. So I've been there. So I think that the most interesting and the moment I'm going to miss until now. So because at that time all the developers are gathering face to face, even though along the years how we communicate is through online, right? At the event, so we face to face with others, developers, community leaders. So yeah, from a part of the journey also, from there I started there is like applications to be a membership board. So I apply myself and I pitch for myself, and some others Ubuntu members vouch for me. And I started being in Ubuntu membership board since 2012 and until now. So I think I'm among the elders. So I'm not sure there's agree, but I think it started there among the elders. So that's how my journey in Ubuntu started and until now. Thank you. Okay. One thing I think you might ask me what the most people don't know about me. I think I more prefer less talk, do more. That is my motto. I mean, like if you were like mumbling, because like in open, it's relate to our community, right? If you say why you don't want to contribute, why you should contribute. So I think we just less talk and do more. Like I think our speakers like Sartika, Youngbin, I really love to see the newcomers. I mean, like they just they have patience, so they just do, even though they need to be like a student, a workers and everything. Because of their patience, they managed to contribute, and especially to our event these 2 days. Thank you. Thank you to all the organizers.
Thank you very much, Khairul. Let's talk, do more. Yes, so very good slogan for contributors. So if you want to contribute, just start right away. There are a lot of documentation online. Thank you very much, and great to have you here. So next, let's hear from Sartika. As you mentioned, Sartika, a very young lady from Indonesia. So Sartika, can you tell us how did you start your open source journey? How did you get involved in OpenStack community in the first place?
Okay, thank you, Phuc. I have told this story many times. I start my open source things in 2019 as a volunteer of Indonesia Open Infrastructure, the first conference in Indonesia about open source open infrastructure. And why I put the open source and Ubuntu in first place, because
Sartika, your microphone breaking up a little bit. I think because a lot of movement.
Okay, wait. Is it better?
Yes, much better.
Okay, I'm sorry. And why I put the Ubuntu and open source in first place, because when I attend the event and join as a volunteer in 2019, I saw many people has contributed or has joined the event that know a lot of open source. And actually in my school, I learned also about open source, but not deeply. And I saw like, I want to join as a community organizer. I want to join more to open source. I know that open source will be more big year in year, and I saw that very interesting. I love to meet people, and I love to organize something, and I love to know more about something like that. Why I put open source. And you may ask me about what is the fake. This is related to why I choose open source, because I'm actually not a technical person like RG. I'm actually the marketing person. I'm the office person, but my company is allow me to involve more with open source, because my company also support and use open source in daily activity. And that makes me want to know more about open source and want to contribute more to open source community.
Thank you very much, Sartika. So actually very interesting from a volunteer and now the organizer of OpenStack in Asia. And one thing that you share very interesting, that the audience who new to open source may be interesting for them. You don't need to be a developer to join the community. So there are a lot of different responsibilities and it's open to everyone, from designer to marketing, from event organizer. So everyone can join in. Thank you very much, Sartika. And now let's hear from Masafumi about like your journey in the Raspberry Pi community and foundation. Why did you join the community in the first place?
Yes, and I started on the Raspberry and 2012, and you know, is a Raspberry Pi and the first release years. So my friends and very much interested in and Raspberry Pi building things and something on the electronic DIY on the building and something hardware with Raspberry Pi. So I said and to my friends to build we should organize a committee to spread the word to Raspberry Pi things in the Japanese open source community. So I get started on the October 2012 and start communicate with event upton to notice and our community and doing something activity. So and in November in December in the same the years events contacted to me to to volunteering for their and promotion and community building in Japan. So I agree with the thought, and so I started in 2012. For because I used to be I was a contributor on the open source project, and which is in some which is by some microsystems. For the I was I had a project in the laptop project in open source and the project and with non-Japanese guys and to build a community. I succeeded in community and in open source projects and contribute to many things and open source and automated installer. Now you can see Source 11 and many things and in
Masafumi yes, a lot of like contribution like until today, right? You have been very active open source contributors. Can you tell me one of the biggest achievement? So all of the things that you mentioned today.
Okay,
what is
sorry for that. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Okay, sorry for that. So I mean, I do the same things for being a community and the Raspberry Pi community project and more I welcome is not only Japanese person but also is foreign person and in Japan and I succeed in building a community with not only events health but also English person and living in Japan. So I fortunately I succeeded project. I succeeded in the committee and the committee to bigger and get started so helping and the committee in the Asian area. So sorry for that.
Yes, don't be sorry. Thank you very much and congratulations on your achievement. I understand that in the Japanese community, normally you can only like meet Japanese people together, but you successfully build a community that also engage like English speaking members. So this is really cool. Thank you very much. And we're very glad to have you here today. How about Youngbin? So just a very quick one. What is your biggest achievement so far, Youngbin?
So yeah, I contributed many more projects. But and some of you know, and I contribute in the OpenStack community looking at GPU project and
Yes.
the AI.
Masafumi, sorry, but can I share some experiences? I think it's my turn.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the questions was about the Osteoporosis accomplishments on the community engagement, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. So when I just became the representative of the local community, I think I'm not sure the how's the view of the other people, but in my view, I think it was like too much focus on just organizing only seminars. Many people not just they were not really interested to actually contribute to the Ubuntu project, such as like reporting bugs or participating in the localization, like translating the English user interfaces to Korean, or maybe it can be also packaging, right? But I couldn't find the people who are interested in the contributing to Ubuntu. So one of my goals when I just became the representative, I want to engage people to actually contribute to Ubuntu projects. But unfortunately, I also don't really know well about how can I contribute to Ubuntu project. So our team started from the easy one. First thing was the translation, which is people can easily get started, and they can start on the right from the launchpad, right? So we usually organize kind of one-day workshop, and we give some instruction on how they can get started with the translation. But it wasn't very like if you saw the session right before this panel discussion, you might know that it wasn't really effective to make long-time contributors. But I think I think recently find some way to actually engage new contributors and make them as long-time contributors. I think it might be there might be many ways to do that. One thing might be some kind of long-term mentoring, something like Google Code summer code, or like the open source contributor that was introduced in the session before. And I also so I could through participating the contributor program, I could you could engage the not just more contributors, but also be able to make them as long-term contributors. So that was one of my accomplishment while I'm participating as an organizer.
Thank you, Youngbin. And yes, I can confirm this. You not only engage the people to contribute to Ubuntu, but at the same time, you also bring us together here for this UbuCon conference. And I was really impressed that whenever you do something, you get it done very quickly. You even contribute to the translation of event Yay, as I see so far. Only you got started to use the system for 1 or 2 days, already started to contribute. Yes, so thank you very much. Ajay, how about you? Your biggest achievement so far?
Yeah, for me, there's 3 proudest moments. Yeah, first of all is I get the opportunity to attend Mozilla Summit 2013. Yeah, it's not about Ubuntu, but it's how do I say that? It's an opportunity. I get the opportunity because in Ubuntu, not Ubuntu, sorry, Mozilla Summit is a greatest open source one of the greatest open source event. Yeah, and everyone want to go, but they choose you. That means you do a lot of contribution. It's good for me. And the second one is because I have an opportunity to go to Hong Kong Open Source Conference, and they invite me to have a booth on there in 2017. Yeah, and third is I went to Japan for OSC at 2019 and to help promote Coast Cup. Yeah, this is three proudest moment for me. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for sharing your proudest moment. Yes, so I think that many of us, when we contribute to an open source project and being recognized, of course, we feel very proud for our contribution. Yeah, I could understand that. Sartika, how about you?
Okay, about me, since I'm the newcomer, I start the things in 2019. My proudest achievement so far is this year is the first time I organized the multi-region event, which is UbuCon Asia, and the last Open Infradisk Asia, the first Open Infradisk Asia. That was the proudest movement because I can meet people from other country, and I see how open source and open source community in outside Indonesia. That was the proudest moment, and organize the online event because that was a challenge things for me. We can see in person, and we have to do asynchronous and synchronous things for the event, but we can pass that. I think that's from me because I don't have that much thing because I have started it in 2019.
Very impressive, Sartika. Only within a short time, engaged in the community, already organized multiple events in the region. Yeah, happy to hear from you, Sartika. Just for the next time, I think you still have some breaking noise from the microphone. I guess because of the cable are not so stable. So when you remove that cable a little bit, maybe it could be better for the next question. How about Khairul? How about you? One of the oldest contributors, maybe in this panel. What is your proudest moment or biggest achievement so far?
Sorry, I think I need to take back the claims. Elders, yeah, of course, but just a part of being the Ubuntu membership boards and Ubuntu members this long, and then I think my not say the greatest lah, my latest accomplishment would be to be part of the Document Foundation and Genome Foundation members. So I think since it's going to take, because I will not say that along of the years that I've been contributing to OSS, basically is among with those tools whereby the before LibreOffice is Open Office, and then it go to LibreOffice, and then a part of being default Ubuntu desktop environment is Genome. So I think maybe indirectly I've been contributed previously, but this recent year before the pandemic started, I think it was 2019, I managed to flew myself and meeting the our Indonesian members at the Genome Asia Summit 2019, and then from there, whereby I foresee because we are in OSS, right? So I try to expand my contributions into the genome, and then part not least is LibreOffice. So I think that is latest accomplishments that I'm proud as for this year. So I'm not sure in this coming year. So I also feel that what RJ is felt, whereby I mentioned to you that I've been flew and sponsored and flew by the Canonical, and then being among the Asians members. I mean, at that time, maybe people won't know Malaysia. Maybe the past years, anywhere is Malaysia, I'm not sure. So it's a part of my accomplishments to represent my country as a contributor to open source and specifically to the Ubuntu.
Thank you, Khairul. Yes, for the latest update from you and the activities over in Malaysia. So I want you to continue to help me to understand what do you think as the biggest, the main challenges, working with the community these days, especially you mentioned COVID, the pandemic. So what are the challenges that you see these days, and how can we continue to grow our community and sustain this whole open source idea and ecosystem?
Okay. Thanks for the question. So what I'm trying to say, I'm not sure it applied to all others Asian country. So I'm more speaking on behalf of what I can foresee in Malaysia. For example, because before pandemic and a few years back, actually the momentum of the open source community is quite high in Malaysia. But I'm not sure why before the pandemic it starts slowing down, or maybe because of the transitions of the generations, whereby I'm not sure the new generations in Malaysia are not more interested into OSS, or they are not being exposed to open source. So that's why I foreseen that then while you talk about pandemic, it more or less because we cannot meet face to face, we cannot do the meetup. But even though we have a platform, meet up and everything, so that activity is less. So I'm not sure why, and that's something lacks. Then I would like actually to take this. I'm not sure, maybe the rest of the country I can see like Korea, I think Hong Kong and Indonesia. I think the new generations now are coping up, and I would like to congratulate them, especially the youngsters now like Youngbin, Sartika. I'm so sorry, Masafumi, not to offend the oldies like us. So I mean, like we need to emphasize this because the new generations is like a legacies to this OSS. So without them contributing, like Youngbin say, to the just a simple like translations, trying bugs and everything. So that's some things that more on ours, the elders or the veteran, I can say, maybe rephrase, a veteran need to take out the new leaders, I think, to show up their skills. And yeah, I mean, for the new generation. So I'm not sure I'm answering you or not. So I think more on the awareness program. So maybe that's why I'm spoke as behalf of what I can see on Malaysia. But maybe we can hear sharings from others country from our panelists.
Mm-hmm. So that is yes. So you mentioned that the momentum seemed to go down a little bit before and also after the pandemic, and you recommend that in order to foster continue the momentum, we should do more awareness program. And you said that, like, the people who care about the topic should go out and talk to more people. So that is the situation in Malaysia. How about Sartika, Indonesia? So how is it? How is the free and open source scene in Indonesia? Are people like still very active during the pandemic, or what are the challenges that you see now, and how we can tackle those challenges, in your opinion?
Can you hear my voice clearly now? Okay. In Indonesia, I actually agree with what Khairul said, because in Indonesia, students are young age is starting to contribute and to know more about OSS in early days. They start in school, and the challenge is before the pandemic, we have challenge that we have limitation of distance. We can organize this event. We have to prepare in 3 months, but we can meet in 3 months. But and the distance is we can attend the event because it's far. It's in another city, but in pandemic situation, actually we have benefits of there's no limitation of distance. And in these early days, in these days, people start to do regularly meet up, and people who interest in OSS is share more what they know or what they do with open source project, and encourage people, especially is the newcomer to join to share and explain to others about what is open source, and from the beginning until the intermediate things about open source. And they also encourage us about open source is not just technical things. It's contribute to open source is many things like there was a localization we can do if we have capable in language, or if we capable in design, then we can contribute in design. Like Indonesia have Gamescape community, we have open source community, we have class. In cities in Indonesia, we have a group that interests in open source, and in one annual event we usually gather together and share about what happened in their city, and we talk about how open source in Indonesia, and we want to bring the open source in Indonesia in the next level. That's from Indonesia.
Thank you, Sartika. Yeah, so I'm really glad to see you here, and also you said like younger member newcomers of the community helping each other to engage in various areas in open source, not only limited to software development. How about Youngbin? How is the situation in Korea? What did you see as the challenges, and any suggestion, idea to tackle these challenges?
In Korea, actually these days there are many people, many young people trying to contribute to open source, but what they want to contribute to is a bit different. And we're in the UbuCon, right? Like in people's like we people like us, like maybe interested to contribute to Ubuntu or some other Linux projects, right? But nowadays people who trying to contribute to open source, they're more like they're interested to something like web technologies, something like React or JavaScript, and they're not really they're more interested into rather than Linux. They're like writing web applications. So it's for us it's just easy to bring new people who are interested in the Ubuntu and bring them as our kind of contributors or community members. So I think I just lost what I need to say. I think I was just thinking maybe in my opinion to bring some more newcomers to something like Ubuntu projects. Maybe if there's a topics that are interested into something like something new thing, like in many in this day people are many interested in something like Kubernetes, right? Maybe there's like Kubernetes distribution for Ubuntu, like micro Kubernetes. maybe if we do something like some new topics that might be newcomers would be interested, maybe I'm just thinking it would be possible to bring some newcomers or new generation to our community. And I think also it is important to not just engaging new people to the committee, but it's also to refresh the organizers or core members of the committee, because one people or some few organizers cannot do the managing the committees forever, right? It really needs some refresh periodically. In our cases, we elect new leaders every 2 years, and also if we need, we also change the other elected new organizers for the committee.
Yes. So yes, I think that is a very good point. Like always refresh the core group to get new people engaged, give them more responsibilities. But as you mentioned, what I understand is the people who engage in open source in the past, right? So they use the group for different topics, but because now in this society, like people are also fighting for living to survive. So of course, people will get into something that's useful for their career opportunity. And you said like web development, React.js, Kubernetes, these are something that help them for their own career development, for their own job, might help them to get a job in the future. Therefore, people more engaged in these communities. So that is understandable. And I think that open source is not only about one project; it's about the whole like a movement. I think it doesn't matter if a person contribute to Ubuntu or OpenStack or Force Asia or Kubernetes. So we need more people. To roll the entire system, and because open source is not limited to the software, but we want open source as a way to find solution to tackle the climate change, to tackle COVID. I want to talk now with Ajay, because in Taiwan there's a lot of like open source hardware. We talk about the open source in general, right? But because a lot of like open hardware also coming from out Taiwan, and it's like have to tackle the current like world problems that we are facing. I want you to talk a little bit about the open source community over there. What do you see as the challenge, and what have changed so far? Yeah, any like news from the community scene, either from software, hardware, whatever you can share with us.
Okay. Now talk about the software, because we have a lot of hackers work about the Qt Py, Raspberry Pis or something IoT, but the software. I only talk about the Ubuntu TW because Ubuntu TW. In Ubuntu TW, we have fewer and fewer new volunteers who want to join us. Yeah, for example, in Taiwan, there are many articles to talk about, to teach newbies to do something with Ubuntu, like build a website or run TensorFlow, run Docker, or something else. But that's writing in Taiwan Chinese. Yeah. But the attendees number of every Ubuntu race party in Taiwan is still about 20 people. Yeah. So even some of the authors who write the article, we haven't seen until now. So just try to engage them, to let them to join our family. Yeah. So for better scaling, I just think about to maybe can try to collaborate with other communities or some volunteers in university, so we can just make some event or have some class in universities that maybe we can have more volunteers know about Ubuntu TW and join us, and make Ubuntu TW stronger. And that's it. Yeah.
Yes, another very good point to connect different communities together, like what we are doing now at this conference. I see that the speakers have a lot to share. However, we are running out of time. So we have 55 minutes for this panel, and it's already like soon finish.
Sorry, I think there is a missing part of it. I think there's a what we can change, right? If we can do, right?
Yes. So if you can change something, what would you change?
Okay.
Khairul?
I might ask from the panelists. Do you aware of the bug launchpad number 1? Anyone can answer? Anyone from the room? What is the bug?
Ubuntu is that the first anti-market share?
No, I mean, what is the number 1 bugs reported in Launchpad? Okay, no worries. So it's about that was reported by Mark Shuttleworth. Is number 1 is liberations. So Microsoft has a majority market share. So if what I can do is I want to break the market share, then OS will be half 50-50 or something else. That's actually if I can do. So just to be a part, someone you've been said, so the bug number 1. So if I can do, so I want to fix that bug number 1. Okay, that's for me. I'm not sure for.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so good luck with that.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, of course it's a good luck, right? That's the best that we can do.
Okay, so I just like looking quickly because we need to wrap up. We also have a social event coming up. Yeah, so I think that the organizer prepared some fun game for the audience. Any final words from the panelists, and anyone to say your final words? Masafumi, anything to say before we finish?
I'm looking for a good project in the Asian area. So in the K5 and first I found the project in Asian area. Thank you, RJ, for and Pink Chains and so introduce your project. So I'm still looking for a good project in the Asian area. So introduce Raspberry Pi. And please feel free to email me to chat with me and afterwards. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, I think that we need to wrap up. I think that during the conversation, I saw a lot of messages going on the chat, and the speaker already answered some of the audience questions. Once again, thank you very much for your participation today, and I hope that we continue the conversation in other conference. So the Force Asia Summit, every year I would like to invite again the communities to join us and have the conversation again at the Force Asia Summit. Youngbin, I think that do we